Kevin Feige confirms Robert Downey Jr. will not return as Iron Man. Uh-oh. Now what do they do? Well, so once again, here at Cosmic Book News, summarizing the whole ordeal. So there you have it. Well, rumors offered Avengers Secret Wars a return. Yeah, that was the deal, that he would return because of all the multiverse shenanigans and time travel stuff. The possibilities are endless on how you could explain Tony Stark returning, or a Nomad series. Now, that was kind of recent, and it stands to reason that something like that for D Plus they could have done. But I think it's way too late to even pursue that now. But anyway, let's go. Robert Downey Jr. will not be back as Tony Stark in Iron Man. Is confirmed by the head of Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige. Rumors have offered that the Avengers could reassemble and that Robert Downey Jr. will be back in Avengers Secret Wars or a Nomad series along with Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson. But that is not happening. And even the Nomad thing just would have been set in the past when, you know, what became of Steve Rogers when he went in the past and ended up going back to Peggy and marrying her and living with her until she passed away and he was a lonely old man. But this would involve, like, stuff in the past, or probably altering time, too. So I suppose, they put some wiggle room in there where things changed. Turns out that was a Skrull, Tony Stark, who died, who came to believe he was Tony Stark. And same thing with Black Widow. So there you go. See, problem solved. Boy, I don't know. But anyway, in a lengthy featured Robert Downey Jr. interview with Vanity Fair, the article includes quotes from Kevin Feige. It's remarked that Marvel known for bringing back characters from the dead, and it noted that Feige says that won't happen to Stark. We're going to keep that moment and not touch that moment again, Feige said. We all worked very hard for many years to get to that, and we would never want to magically undo it in any way. Okay. Never has to say goodbye again. Avengers Endgame directors Anthony and Joe Russo, who sadly are no longer a part of Marvel, and it shows, also weighed in and offered they promised Robert Downey Jr. he would never have to say goodbye again. We already said tearful goodbyes on the last day of shooting. Everybody had moved on emotionally, Joe Russo said. We promised him it would be the last time we made him do it. Ever. Anthony Russo added that was a difficult thing for him to do, to come back to pick up that line when he did come back. We were shooting on a stage directly opposite where he auditioned for Tony Stark. So his last line as Tony Stark was shot literally a couple of 100 feet from his original audition that got in the role. So there you go, Avengers not reassembling. Chris Evans also responded to rumors about her return to Marvel and said, I'm very protective. It's a very precious role to me, so it would have to be just right. Well, that leaves the door open for him anyway. Kevin Feige has confirmed something is in the works with Scarlett Johansson, and Johansson also addressed a return to the MCU. Like a loophole, replied Johansson when asked if there could be a resurgence with mention of the multiverse. I feel like that's kind of the end, right? Like, can you come back? Teased Johansson, giggled tee-hee. Could it be a vampire version of the character? Giggle, giggle. Because I'm here for that. Giggle, tee-hee, right? Like a zombie version, maybe? Giggle, giggle, tee-hee. Yeah, so of the three, it seems only Scarlett Johansson will be back in the MCU. Somehow. Well, it's multiverse, so it's very easy. It would be an alternate version of her. A version of the universe where she didn't die. That kind of thing. And they could do that. It's not as satisfying. The actual character that people, liked or what have you is still dead. But it's like, oh, look who's back. And please, God, for God's sakes, come see the movie. You know, that's the desperation of it all. Regarding the other Avengers, Thor 5 is said to be in the works with Chris Hemsworth. Savage Hulk is said to be returning to the MCU with murmurings of a potential World War Hulk movie on the way. Well, how are you going to do that? You don't have an Iron Man. He's pivotal to that story. But what do you care? Plus, you already made fun of that stuff in Ragnarok. Yeah, Thor 5, they're hoping can get Thor back to where he was supposed to be after Taika screwed it all up because, as he openly admitted, never liked the character and doesn't give a crap about any of it. Well, already knew that. I mean, come on. Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye seems to have been replaced by Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop, who, if lucky, might star in a Young Avengers D+ series. Well, yeah, luck would have to get that off the ground. If they did an actual Young Avengers and try to keep it as close as the source material, it would actually have some potential. They could still use the Kang storyline because, and you can easily replace the actor because that's Kang as a teenager in that story, and they're not going to do any of that. It won't even resemble. I mean, right off the bat, Miss Marvel, they've got her starting the team. She wasn't on the team, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, back to Iron Man and all that. It's more than likely an Iron Man could return. There were rumors that they were even going to have Tony Stark come back, but it would be an alternate universe Tony Stark, and he would be a villain. I don't think that would go over well if you actually had Robert Downey Jr. playing that. But it would be a different take on the character, the interest him in it. I mean, he's done his due diligence for them. He did owe them for the resurgence of restoration of his career because it was pretty much over at that point, but he managed to make a big win out of Iron Man. But he's done a lot, and he was handsomely paid, and imagine the cost now, and they don't really have it. And so, odds are, yeah, he's not coming back. I understand they would desperately want him to come back, but probably can't seal the deal. And, who could blame him? So, but Iron Man, the character Iron Man, ultimately recast, and you got to do your reboot. That's what you got to do. They all just cobble together what they got left, and each movie ends when they find a mysterious thing in the woods, and they walk into it and disappear, and then in Secret Wars, they all wake up on the spaceship, and the Beyonder shows up, and there you go. Problem is, no one cares. Even if you do a good Secret Wars movie, will anyone show up at this point? Because the brand is damaged. Probably should just rest everything. One of the advantages that DC has, they don't utilize it at all, but they have tons of other properties that have nothing to do with superheroes. And you could rest your superhero properties while you develop, as a DC studio, these other stories and stuff. Marvel doesn't have that much, and they haven't emphasized it enough over the decades. But there's a few there. I mean, and even though they are connected to the overall Marvel universe, like Werewolf by Night, you might be able to make a trilogy out of that. It's just this, traveling poor werewolf bastard. And you do it well, but you do it on the cheap and all that stuff. And then after that trilogy's over, it ends with, the Avengers or, the Fantastic Four, or something like that. And you move back into your superhero stuff for a while. And do the opposite of what you've been doing for the past couple of years. You might be all right. But I don't know. They really stunk up the brand. And Disney overall is stunk up, so that's too bad. Oh, yeah, look who's gay now. Yeah, look who came out of the TARDIS. Yeah. I didn't watch it. I just read articles about it. Was I shocked? No. Anyway, so, okay, 180 on that rumor. And then maybe they're lying, and he will show up. Surprise! Because they want to keep it a secret somehow. But either way, a reboot is a reboot, so it's a recast, And could they do another Iron Man down the road? Yes, but it just won't be Robert Downey Jr. And I mean, these people age out; they don't look like that no more, and that's just the reality of life, And besides, again, he's done it; he's got to be tired of it. But, if they had the money, he'd probably come back. But I don't think they do. Oh, well, anyway, there you go. No Robert Downey Jr., apparently.